Hey, what's good everybody? It's Lance again, and today it's a very sad time in my life right now, and I think a lot of people could kind of maybe feel the same way. It is basically the end of Robin season, the season finale. It is Crabs in a Barrel, which is the final and conclusion to Robin season. And yeah, I think this was a very interesting and satisfying conclusion to the season because of the fact that I just feel like, well, I feel like this season was very good. Certainly, there were some episodes that were better than others, no doubt. However, that doesn't excuse or that doesn't necessarily negate the fact that the season was good. You know, I really enjoyed this season, and it was one of the most memorable seasons I think I'll ever have in television, you know, for me. Or recently, so far, I've been watching television for years, of course, and honestly, I feel like this is one of the seasons where I'm going to remember for the most because you learn a lot. This season was crazy. It's full of a lot of hidden gems, symbolism, metaphors, allegories, things of that nature, you know, just political commentary, race, social justice commentary. Not only that, but just like, you know, it's a satire at times. It's a weird show. It's a bizarre show, surreal, comedic, all in one. You know, and it takes place in Atlanta. Like it's just crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna get more into that at the end of the video. But right now, I want to talk about this episode. The episode starts off with Earn trying to get Darius and Al ready for this trip that they're going to have at Clark County. Apparently, going to have a big tour in Europe. And yeah, Earn is just obviously trying not to get fired, right? And that's his big dilemma throughout the whole episode. Am I going to get fired? Because last time we saw these guys, Earn was kind of like warned by Paperboy that, you know, I might end up replacing you. And Earn is like distraught right now because obviously, you know, we see Lottie in the beginning of the episode. Earn brings Lottie to Al's like kind of like entertainment manager interview. So basically they go to this guy's office, and he's just this black man with like a Howard degree and a Georgetown MBA, and he's offering to represent them as an entertainment lawyer. However, the dilemma is that he doesn't have good enough people under his belt. He doesn't have good enough clients. He has like 4 clients from Love and Hip Hop and like a couple of F-list rappers. One of the things is that Al wants Earn to try to consider to get them a Jewish lawyer. You know, I'm not gonna get into that, but like that's something that happens in the episode. And also what happens is that, you know, over time, Earn is just, you know, he's trying to like make do. Like he's trying to like be as quick and as efficient as he can. However, what happens is that Lottie's teacher, which obviously Earn and Van's child's teacher at school, calls them in for this conference. They meet up, and Van is there, Earn is there, Lottie's there, and the teacher is there. And the teacher basically kind of insinuates that Lottie is just too gifted for this school. And she goes on the extra mile by saying that this school is awful. Like, don't stunt your child's education by bringing them here. Take them somewhere else where they can actually get a good education. However, this other place is going to cost you a little bit of money. So Earn is already wondering if he's going to be employed in the next couple of days. And not only that, he has to worry about maybe trying to pay for tuition for school for his daughter. And after that, Earn and Van kind of reconcile a little bit. They talk about obviously their child, and Earn goes off. However, Earn eventually gets a text from Van that she's thinking about moving in with their mom, with her mom, and Earn is just kind of like, he doesn't know exactly what he's going to do. He takes Darius to go get his passport renewed by this Jewish place that he says that will be able to do it within a couple of hours. Darius basically picks this place because he figures that would be the best place to go. However, it's interesting because, well, they are able to get the passport fine, but the thing is that the Jewish clerk had mentioned that his cousin was a great entertainment lawyer, which is something that had been referred to in the beginning of the episode with the black entertainment lawyer. Earn had asked him a very interesting and honest question. Does he think a black entertainment lawyer will be just as good as his cousin? And the whole office just kind of looks at the clerk, and they kind of look at each other, and he gives them like an answer that I guess that's the answer that he can give. For systematic reasons, he feels that his cousin would have more connections, but that black people would be just as good. However, his cousin would have more connections because of systematic reasons. That's a very interesting kind of topic to discuss here. I guess what Donald Glover is trying to say something here. I'm not sure. And yeah, it was just a very interesting way to put it. And then obviously he talks to Darius after that, and he tries to explain to him, yo man, my whole life is falling apart, man. I know you're into this free peace stuff, like you're at peace with everything, but like, do you think that Al is trying to fire me? And then Al just kind of like, well, Darius just gives him like this very honest answer. They're both black men, they can't afford to fail, and you're getting better as a manager, but in order to get better you have to fail, and as a black man you can't fail. It's like one of those things. It's a harsh reality about living in America, is that, or just as a black person in general, regardless if you're a man, it's just, or a woman, it's just harder. It's just harder. So that's also a big thing about this episode. It talks about that. And then you go back to, the house, and, it's like a nice little moment with them on the couch, and eventually they go to the airport. Earn is just not having it. He just goes straight to the airport to get everything done. However, he realizes that he still has the golden pistol that he was given earlier on in the season inside of his bag after Al had told him to dispose of it. So he makes a very, very dire decision and puts it in Clark County's bag without anybody noticing. However, it is soon discovered that Clark County actually had put it inside of his manager's bag, which kind of avoided all police suspicion towards him. And it was crazy. And we find that out later in the episode. But before that, we get a nice little tender moment between Al and Earn, basically saying that Al knows what he did, and that Al was always going to be there for him, and Earn is the only person that really knows him, and that's why he needs to be there for him. And that was a nice little tender moment. Earn really gets a little bit of some sort of clarity and some sort of, I guess you can say, solidarity with that. He feels secure. And the episode just kind of basically ends on there, and we understand that obviously Clark County wasn't the one that got arrested. It was his manager. And yeah, that itself, it's just like, okay, you got to do whatever you got to do in this industry to survive. If something like that happens, you have to be able to move quickly and just act quickly. And that's one of the things in which they try to tackle in this episode, is that aspect of just being spontaneous and moving on your feet and knowing what's right and what's wrong. And even if something's wrong, are you willing to do it? And if you're willing to do it fast. And that's what kind of Earn has to understand here, is that sometimes those things are going to be necessary. Even though you make a stupid decision, he could have threw it away earlier on in the season. He forgot, he procrastinated, he didn't get it done. However, he had to make a fast move in order to avoid all suspicion, avoid all of that. You're in you're in TSA. You can't fuck with that. So it's like one of those things. And yeah, we get a decent closure to the season. So that's it for that episode. And I honestly, like I said before, I really dug the episode. It was, I feel like this whole season, like I said, some episodes were better than others. Like the Teddy Perkins episode is still probably my favorite episode of the season. And it's funny because it's never referred to after that. It's like one standalone short film, and then that's it. Which I appreciate, I feel like, an episode like that, it's not important for it to be included into the overall aspect of the story in order for it to be a great episode. But, it is definitely like a very interesting season this year. We saw less of Earn. Earn was mainly the centerpiece of each and every episode last season, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 episodes. This season, he was only like the centerpiece of maybe like 3 or 4, it felt like. You know what I mean? Al really held his own in a few episodes, and so did Darius. I think he had like one, oh, well, of course, Teddy Perkins. So it's like one of those things where, you know, and also Van held her own as well. It's like we get like so many different episodes with so many different point of views, and it's definitely a different structure than the first season, and I appreciated that. And I really enjoyed it. I mean, first of all, I'm not going to say I didn't, because let me tell you something. This is still the best show on television, and I really enjoyed it. And I feel like this season, I'm going to be thinking about for years to come as one of my favorite or one of the most memorable seasons of any television show, because of the fact that you learn from this show, or you are forced to think from this show. And it's not ambiguous. It's not, or too ambiguous. It's not pretentious. It's literal commentary. It's literal satirical at times, not all the time. It's political commentary about what's happening in the world, what's happening in society, specifically with black culture and things of that nature. And, you know, it just happens to be around black men in Atlanta, or a woman, or black men and women in Atlanta. And it's definitely a treat to see. And damn, like, I don't know. I really enjoyed the episode, and I really did enjoy this season. I don't know what else to say here. I feel like it's a shame that it ended, because now we gotta wait almost maybe a year and a half for the next season to come. Just like this season, it took so long to come out. Now we gotta wait another year. So it's like, I'm really sad. You know, I really am sad. And the thing is that we don't know if it's gonna get renewed. Is it gonna get renewed? Like, I don't know. You know, the FX has still yet to comment on it. I don't know if Donald Glover has commented on it at all, but like, it still has not been renewed. Some shows are usually renewed during the middle of the season. Still no renewal, or no word of cancellation. That would be insane. I mean, I honestly don't think it will get canceled, simply because of the fact, like, Donald Glover, especially after the This Is America music video, that was insane, and that I love. I really do really enjoy. I mean, I really like that video. Like, it's a great video, and I probably should have done a video on it, but at the end of the day, I mean, like, I only have so much time to do anything. But yeah, it's, you know, I feel like after all of that, Donald Glover has a lot of clout right now, so I really don't think FX would take a gamble and just cancel the show. I feel like this last episode is probably going to get some of the biggest ratings of the season, because of the whole This Is America thing and everything like that. It broke records on YouTube. I wouldn't be surprised if some of that clout went from, you know, his music onto his television show, because he's on television, you know, and some people don't know that, you know. But at the end of the day, I really enjoyed this season. Is it as better as last season? I'd say so. I think it's as good, because of the fact that last season, you know, I think the first episode or the first season of any great show is usually like the center stage. It's usually like the standard. It's the magna opus. So like, it's hard to really compete with the first season, and some shows kind of fall afterward. Like, you got Mr. Robot. First season was a masterpiece. Second season, convoluted, not that good. Third season kind of picked up, but maybe it could have been too little too late, even though it's still renewed. So I feel like with a show like Atlanta, it's keeping a good steady pace, and I hope that it continues to keep that pace going on, because in my opinion, it's one of the best shows of I don't know, that's just on right now. I mean, well, is it one of the best shows of all time? I mean, that remains to be seen. It certainly is up there, especially with black culture shows, and like, you know, like shows about black people, you know. I think that this is definitely like up there, you know. I don't really know any other show like really that has been able to successfully blend surrealism, comedy, satirical, political commentary, racial, social justice commentary, all of that type of stuff inside of like one show based around, you know, the culture. And that's something that I have to really commend with Atlanta. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say for right now. Dang, I have to find another show to review or just like talk about, because I mean, obviously I'm going to keep on doing movie reviews from time to time, you know, when I watch movies and stuff like that, but you know, it seems like you guys really like me watching Atlanta, and I feel like, you know, I would like to watch another show. And I mean, like, I watch Westworld. Would you guys like to see me talk about Westworld? I mean, I feel like a show like Westworld would be a little bit too ambiguous to talk about. I feel like that show is so convoluted. I don't know. That's a whole bunch of shows. I mean, I feel like when Game of Thrones comes out, I can't wait to do that. But that will be like almost a year from now. So it's like crazy. I don't know. Anyway, you guys let me know if there's a show out there that you guys think that maybe I should watch, or would you recommend, because let me know. You know, I'm looking for that next show to talk about, because Atlanta, something needs to fill the void. Something does, you know. But anyway, you guys have a great one, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.